The fifth state in the Union, but the first state in our hearts. The state of Connecticut has a long and storied history of success on and off the athletic fields, and 22 Threads is your go to apparel brand for all things CT. Visit the 22 Threads website at www.22threads.com to shop their stores and blue collar football apparel collections now. 10% of each item sold is donated to a local Connecticut nonprofit organization. Look good, do good, because you love CT. All right, we are here for another week talking UConn football with Jackson Mitchell. So, Jackson, welcome back.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
So, last week we were talking, you guys head down to Knoxville to play in probably one of the more well-known college football places. What was, take us through, what was the environment like going down there for a game?
Yeah, obviously it was really cool. Like, it was a huge stadium and it was much like Michigan. I was close to over 100,000. So it was definitely a cool experience. Obviously to just see that sellout and kind of hear that type of crowd. I mean it was a huge crowd and they when they got to third down on the defense side of the ball for them, like, they got super loud, and when they scored they got super loud. And so I think it was just a cool environment to be in and kind of see what that type of football is like for sure.
How does it compare? I know you've been to, I know Clemson, Michigan, some of those other big places. How does Tennessee rank compared to those?
Yeah, I think it was definitely like between the size and like the loudness of the crowd and how involved they were into the game. I think it was probably the best environment I've been in. NC State was pretty cool. Obviously it's not as big, but
Yeah.
it got loud just like that Tennessee crowd did. But I think Tennessee probably gotta take it for sure.
So I've got to ask. I know there were a little bit of some hostilities on the field before the game even started with Tennessee, and I know one of their players said there was a pretty healthy amount of trash talk back and forth between the game. How did it come? How did you see that from your perspective?
Yeah, I mean, before the game, I'm usually one of the first people to go out and warm up. So by the time I was done warming up by myself, like they really were just coming out. So I wasn't really involved in any of that. I kind of heard it in the locker room after it happened. But yeah, there was probably a lot of trash talk. I think they're confident in their play and their ability. So I think they kind of just they talk trash like any team does. I don't think it was no any more than another college football team. I think it was just happened to before the game had started, which normally doesn't happen.
Yeah, I'm always curious to kind of get that perspective on what things are like on the field. Is there usually a healthy amount of trash talk in these games?
Yeah, I think so. I think especially between the offense and defensive line, that's kind of where most of the trash talk's gonna go down. Really, you don't really see it too much at other positions. Obviously, I think more where the one-on-one positions are at. So like I think DBs and receivers, like you might see it a little bit more, like that type of
Yeah.
thing. But it's definitely happens more down in the trenches between the offense and defensive linemen for sure.
As you played this Tennessee team, I know UConn football doesn't get a chance to go play many SEC teams, and I know from afar, just being an observer of college football, you hear a lot about the size of these SEC teams, the speed of them. Was there a noticeable difference between Tennessee and some of the other teams you played in them being an SEC team?
Yeah, I think we've played some big teams, like Boston College and Michigan, teams like that their offensive lines were definitely big, but I think the speed was one thing for sure. Obviously, you saw it on by their running back and their receivers being able to kind of take what normally would be like really big explosive plays, like obviously big gains, and turn them into touchdowns. So that was definitely kind of eye opening to see kind of that level of speed versus us and some other teams that we've played against. Other than that, I think, they obviously had some more depth too. They could bring guys in and out off the field and not have as much of a drop off as maybe some of the smaller teams that we play for sure. So I think it definitely made it tough. And, just watching their defense as our offense is on the field, just kind of seeing their size, it's definitely impressive, their size and speed at all positions, really. Even DBs or DBs are tall and long, and compared to some teams, they might have smaller, shorter DBs. So it was definitely a little bit of a difference for sure.
I'm going to take a quick break from the interview to tell you about my friends at Martin Rosol's Meats. This fourth generation Connecticut family business produces kielbasa, hot dogs, sausages, and deli meats using Martin Rosol's very own original recipes. Their products can be found in grocery stores, delis, restaurants, and hot dog stands throughout the state. And if you're looking for your fill right away, check out their retail store in New Britain. For more information, visit martinroselsinc.com and go support a Yukon fan owned business. And now back to the interview. So you head from that game, and things don't ease up by any means. You go play another ranked team in JMU. How are you feeling heading into this matchup?
Yeah, it's obviously another good opportunity to play a good team. That's kind of like you hope you can, play good teams every week because it's a good challenge and it's fun to play those type of games. And this is another ranked team. They're undefeated. Obviously, we're going on the road again, which makes it even tougher. But it will be a cool game. Obviously, they kind of just came from FCS, and to have the success they're having is really impressive, and they're really well coached, and they do some really good things on as far as their team goes. So it'll be an exciting game to show what we can do.
I know there's a lot of talk around JMU now about, because of that transition from FCS to FBS, they're not eligible for a bowl game. And, I know from UConn football standpoint, given the independence, bowl games never guaranteed based on that. Are you able to sympathize with them a little bit? And do you think they're worthy of, if they're playing at this level, that they should be able to play in a bowl game if they made one?
I mean, I think if I was in their position, I would feel like I've earned the right to, but being in the position that we're in, I don't really care too much about it. And I obviously hope that we kind of get a chance to win and maybe mess up their argument of being undefeated and being able to go to a New Year's Six bowl or something like that. That's kind of at this point in the season when you don't have a chance of going to a bowl game, that's kind of your goal to kind of see if you can mess up some other people's goals of getting there too, you
You know
know?
what? You
Yeah.
jumped right into what I wanted to say because I was going to say I remember being at the game. I think it was 2015 when UConn upset Houston at home to end their undefeated season. So is there some extra motivation when at this point in the season it was similar timing, November? That team's undefeated. Is there a little extra motivation there?
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of like playing Liberty last year. Obviously, we had a chance to go to bowl game, so it was a little bit different last year. But playing an undefeated team, it's exciting to kind of try to be that team, to be the first team to beat them, and kind of put that one in that column. So there's definitely a little bit of motivation there as well, for sure.
As you look at this James Madison team, what sticks out to you about this team as you've been taking a look at them on film and preparing for them this week?
Yeah, I think overall as a whole, they obviously have like a top 10 defense, I think it is in the country, something like that. So we know for us to win with this kind of has to be a big game for us on defense as well. We have to match their defensive ability with our defensive ability to kind of keep this game how we want it to be played and give our offense as much opportunity with the ball as possible. But offensively, I think they're definitely talented and they're very well disciplined. They do some good things. They run the ball really, really well. They have two very capable running backs, and I think you saw last week how dynamic their quarterback is. He had 300, I think, passing yards, 100 rushing yards, and six total touchdowns. So he's kind of, he wants them to, they want him to kind of make the decisions and let it run through him a little bit. So, we've played plenty of quarterbacks like that so far this season. So this is just another one of those guys for sure.
What's the message from the coaching staff been like these past couple weeks, going up against these top 25 teams as you guys have been prepping for them?
Yeah, I think mostly like what I've kind of been trying to tell the guys is like these are great opportunities for you to kind of get that experience and learn from it. And when you're going through a lot of struggles and adversity, like these are things that you're gonna have to learn because like when you get into life outside of football, you're gonna go through things like this and you can't just give up and stop working at whatever you're going towards if you're facing adversity or struggling in your own personal life. So that's kind of like the lessons you got to take away from what we're going through now. Obviously, we're struggling and it's been really tough, but you can't just kind of throw in the towel with 3 games left. You got to keep working as if we have a chance for a bowl game or we're an undefeated team. Just kind of be the same person every single week. Because later down the line, you'll kind of see where it will help you for sure.
All right. Well, as always, got to wrap a little bit with some Giants there. Tommy DeVito now the starter. How you feeling about the Giants going forward?
Yeah, I don't know. I think they might have to find a veteran on the free agent market. I don't know. I hope obviously I think he's an undrafted guy. I always pull for undrafted guys because I think it's impressive to be able to make, the 53-man roster as an undrafted guy.
Yeah.
But it's I mean it's tough. At this point, people are saying maybe they should tank for a new quarterback, which would obviously suck because we spent a lot of money on the current quarterback, but I don't know what the plan is anymore. I just hope that I'm kind of in the boat of let's get a top 5 pick at least.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I guess we'll see how the rest of the season there plays
Yeah,
out. But Jackson, I really appreciate you taking some time here to come on, have a good trip down to James Madison, and we really hope we get to watch you guys play spoiler this weekend.
for sure. Appreciate it.